of course, we're disappointed that we've not got more runs on the board. I think we lost a few wickets in important times throughout the day. Leg side, well, obviously, there was times when we were playing well and we're sort of getting right on top of the game, and then obviously we lost a few wickets in cluster. It sort of turned on its head quite quickly.
Top three can only make 45. I mean, how worried are you about the top of the order right now, as it looks fragile?
No, I'm not worried. I see them play and see them practice, and you see the talent that they have. I think we've got to just keep making sure that we remain positive about what goes on. Today's not been the ideal day, of course not, but that doesn't sort of define how the rest of the game is going to go or how the rest of the series is going to go. So we'll go away, lick our wounds this evening, and then come back and find a way to try and get back in the game.
Any regrets about batting after winning the toss?
I haven't spoken to Joe, but I don't think there will be. No, I think everything sort of dictates to you when you come here to Trent Bridge with various stats and looking at pitches and stuff like that, and how they perform, which would back up that theory of trying to bat first, because in general terms, it gets harder as it goes along. And I think we were looking okay at that point, but obviously putting ourselves a little bit under pressure with the score that we've got. So try and get better for second innings.
Just finally for me, is Jimmy okay? He only bowled 3 overs at the close of play tonight, even though the floodlights were on and it looked like excellent conditions for him. Is he okay?
As far as I know, again, we obviously rushing down from here, then coming off the field and then coming down to this. I haven't spoken to him. We obviously got one on the foot from Bumrah. Whether that had any impact, I don't know. But as far as I know, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Will McPherson and then Rory Dollard. Go ahead.
Hi, Marcus. Your top order barely hit a red ball since the New Zealand series. Some of the batters haven't hit a red ball since the India series earlier this year. Is that appropriate preparation for a big Test series like this?
Probably not. No, I think scheduling is always an issue, and I think trying to get the balance right for the batters moving into Test series. Of course, you would want them to have played a certain amount of red ball cricket going into it, but I think we all appreciate that trying to get all the cricket in, for what you need for the players across the whole summer and county teams, the 100, all these different competitions going on. There's no easy solution to get this right, and something always have to give. But of course, we don't want to use it as an excuse, but we'd love to have the fact that we could get more time into them out in the crease, bowling with the red ball, facing with the red ball, and the preparation be slightly better, but it's just not the way. So you've got to find a way and get into it in a different sort of fashion.
Obviously, the coaching staff don't make the schedule, so are you guys feeling a little bit hamstrung by it?
Look, I don't think it's something that we discuss as sort of coaches to say, right, this is going to make any difference, but we'll go about our preparation trying to get the guys right in the same fashion as we do every series, every competition, every game that we get luckily to be involved with. So it's just, we accept the fact that that's the way it is, but we cannot sit back and just go, well, just because we haven't had the prep, that's it's not going to work. You've got to find a way, and being self-sufficient and managing your own game along with the coaches is the ideal scenario.
Thanks, Will. Rory, Dean, please.
Marcus, so a bit of a follow-up really to Will on the amount of cricket, but how much work have you been able to do as a batting coach with the guys who have had a bit of a rough year, some of that top order? Just wonder how much actual time you've had to try and get into those guys and put something right. Is it not quite enough yet?
Well, difficult to say how much time I've had personally, or the coaches in general, myself, Graham Thorpe, Paul Collingwood, all the guys behind the scenes. They get a lot of work done with their home county or franchise or whatever they're going to be with at the time. We will then have strategic plans in place to work with certain players when they're not practicing with their county or franchise, and we'll then go around and do that work. So it is looked upon about contact time as much as we can get, of course. But as we know, that's not always enough. We can try and structure it as much as we can do. As I said before, you know, if we could get a couple of periods of time where you have a Red Bull game beforehand, if the structure fit, then excellent. But quite often you go into Test match series knowing that you'll be coming off the back of a white ball competition, and that's just the way international cricket is. And you've got to find your way as an international player to make that work.
Can you recall from your playing career with England a moment where the batting lineup really was under the pump and came out of that? And is that something you can tap into?
Yeah, many occasions. Yeah, over the course of my period of my playing career with England, there were periods when you know, the first innings didn't go quite right, or the second innings failed and you lost a game. You just get your head down and knuckle on and crack on and try and get it right for the next innings. That's all you can do. The more attention we draw to this and you know, pressure that we apply to it, it will just make it harder. So, you know, as coaches, we'll try and absorb that and try and give them everything they need to get that better. So it will come right. It's just a case of just sticking with it for a period of time.
Okay, we'll go Dean Wilson and then we'll take one more. Go ahead, Dean.
You're on mute again, Dean.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Go.
Are you more frustrated with the batsmen who got in and then got out, Dom Sibley, Zach Crawley, Johnny Bairstow, or do the four ducks really frustrate you?
I don't think I'm frustrated in any way. I think the guys, when you see them in, they get an opportunity and they try and find something to carry on back to the course. That's what they've got to try and then think about as we work together in the nets or going into the next innings, to think, okay, I've got myself to a certain point. How am I then going to sort of move that forward to, you know, more impact scores and getting better? The same with the guys on North. I think we all appreciate going in at the top of the order. The first 20 balls, probably even more, 30 balls is always tricky for anybody. So, you know, you've just got to get yourself into the series, try and absorb a little bit of pressure, cope with the anxiety. But I don't think we ever get too frustrated as a batting coach. That's not the role that we try and play. We try and help them obviously overcome the scenario that is put in front of them.
And also, I just wondered how tough the challenge is against this Indian bowling attack. Have you seen an Indian pace attack quite as effective as this before?
Well, it's interesting. I think, you know, they're probably at the most potent in comparison to where they've been for a few years. You know, they have a lot of bases covered when they need at certain wickets. You can just see the guys who are not playing in the team, you know, how much quality they have also. So they have a good stock of red ball bowlers currently. You know, they don't get to being in the World Test Championship final for no reason. You know, they play home and away. So of course they've got to have the seam attack to back that up. I think a lot of people watched that when they went to Australia and how well they performed over there. So it was no surprise to us. It's just challenging. You know, we know that it's a real contest, and we've got to raise our game to be able to match up against their skills. And we have that ability. It's just making sure that we do it better than potentially what we've done today.
Thanks, Dean. We'll take one more. Venkat Krishna from India. Go ahead, Venkat.
Yeah, Marcus, India tried bowlers tried a lot of this leg theory again in the Australian tour, and they seem to do it again in here today. Did you expect that from that India?
Yes, yeah, very much so. I think you look at all footage that's played all around the world nowadays. Every ball is recorded and then stored and logged, and trying to work out plans or understand what teams are going to do. And yeah, I think we all realised at times they were going to come very straight with a very split field and potentially even a heavy leg side field. And it's probably a slightly different theory than what we've faced in many Test series in England, because people try and swing the ball away with slips and gullies, but not something we weren't prepared for. So hopefully we can keep adjusting to that in the second innings.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.